Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I've got a couple of different drones to show you today, but I need to do a little preface first. Fimi just came out with a version 3 of their mini drone, and I've got a friend of mine that is sending me one so I can do a few videos with it. So in preparation for that, I've got the Fimi Mini version 1 and the Fimi Mini version 2. And I'm just going to put them up here at the park. I'm out at Kleiner Park today. And we'll just kind of compare the picture on the two and see how they do. Maybe dig into the menus a little bit and look at the features that they offer and see if there's any differences. And then that way I'm kind of refamiliarized with the app. And when that Mini 3 gets here, I'll be able to put out a reasonable video for you. So at any rate, here's the version 1 and here's the version 2. Let's start with the version 1, and I'm fairly familiar with this drone, and I'll let you guys decide what you think of the video, etc. Okie dokie, we're all fired up here. I got a screen recording, got everything ready to go. I ran into a little bit of an issue. I had to use the OTG cable, that is the cable from my phone to the controller, right there. I had to grab the one from the version 2 of the Fimi Mini to get it to work. I suspect that that older cable, because I'm using an iPhone 15, which is a newer phone, may not have the right connection for, if you think about the older iPhones, they used a lightning cable, and certainly when this drone came out in 2021, that's what it would have used. I'm just guessing. All I know is I got it to work immediately with this other cable. I suppose it could be a bad cable too. So, but very quickly, let's take a look at the safety menu here, and you just click at the top there, and let's see, return to home height 35 meters. That's plenty. We want it to return to home, and we're in mode 2. I did already formatted the card, so we don't need to do anything there. And I'm just going to click in and go into the menu here just to see limit of flight distance, 1,000 meters. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We want to run that son of a gun all the way up. And if I'm remembering my Fimis, well, no, it says 1,000 meters. There used to be you had to check a box, but I think I've got it there. And flight speed, we've got that on max at 16 meters per second. Of course, limiting the flight to 120 meters. We got precision landing on. I forgot about that. This does have precision landing. We're not going to do sport mode. It's not asking for any kind of calibrations, so I think we're good to go. I just noticed it's got a button here for a dynamic home point. That'll be interesting. That's something we'll have to look at another time. But anyway, let's go into the camera menu, and we're going to click our video quality all the way up to, high is what I want. And we're going to leave everything else, color on general, everything else just on full automatic, but we're shooting in 4K 30 high because we want to get the best video quality that we can. Let's go ahead and start recording now. I don't want the drone to, yeah, the temperature's getting hot, so it wants us to take off. Let's do that right now. Doing an automatic takeoff on the app. So yeah, it was telling us, I knew the drone sitting there in the sun, not good for it. So it's rising, you know, Fimi rises to, I believe it is, yeah, 4 meters. It's exactly 4 meters high. So let's bring it straight down here and spin it around. And you know, Fimi's flight controls are always pretty good. The drone's moving around a little bit, as you can see, but not too bad. I'll bring it in here a little bit. There's no obstacle avoidance, so you don't have to worry about anything like that with the drone. Let's get it pointed at me here, and yeah, so there it is. Maybe I could even bring it in a little closer. Let's get it in closer to the camera. I don't want to get it too far under here because there's a post here. So let's just leave it at that. time to do our droning. You know, we always it's one of the things I always like to do is just to do a manual pull away shot. And a little gust of wind came up here, but that's okay. Reverse and up now, reverse and up. And I'm hitting pretty hard on that up stick. We want to make sure we're above all the trees. Let me drop that camera down. Man, this is a nice flying little drone, I'll tell you that right off the bat. And look at that, perfectly flat horizon. This is the original Fimi Mini, and yeah, we're kind of over the center part of the park here. I hadn't intended to go out that far, but let's move it forward here. So I'm full stick forward in normal mode, and we're up to over 9 meters per second or so. Heck, it's still climbing. Probably get up to 10 meters per second. As I recall, this is a fast little drone. I gotta tell you, let's do a kind of a quick yaw here and see how that affects our, yeah, I mean, I thought to see how that affects our horizon, but it's handling it, it's handling it just fine. Doesn't get any flatter than that. That's perfect. That's what you want. I gotta tell you, this thing's fun. We got 19 satellites. We got really good. If you look up there in the top right, we've got good signal, and I'm sitting under a picnic shelter here, so so I'm a little bit obscured, but yeah, so far so good. So let's run it up over the other pond here. Just kind of take a little bit of a flight around, and you know, I want to see if we get any if I get any issues with the FPV feed and so forth. And again, remember, we're recording in high speed or in the best quality of video. So I can't remember what the bit rate is on this. Hopefully it's like close to 100 megabits, but I can't remember. Out over to that field, we'll just kind of get you a look over here. And yeah, turn it around. Now I'm starting to see a little bit of my FPV signal was down into the yellow there, although it looks fine on the feed. I don't have any complaints with the feed at all. But let's get down here kind of, you guys know I always like to fly around the sculpture that's over here on the other side of the park. So let's get over there and let's do a quick cycle around that. At 81% battery. It was kind of interesting that that issue that I saw with the cable. I couldn't get it to connect, and it was the original cable that came with this drone. And again, I think that probably has more to do with the fact that iPhone just started with USB-C. I think, what is Apple calls it, Thunder cable or something like that. So there could be some differences there, but using the cable from the version 2, it hooked right up. So I'm sure that it's probably something like that. There, I got a little bit of stuttering, but you know, we're a ways away, and yeah, so I'm not complaining, and we're at a fairly low altitude, so yeah, I'm not complaining a bit there. Yeah, we got good, and I see I'm kind of in the yellow on the FPV. If you look in the top right on the strength indicator up there. How high are we? Yeah, we're about 24 meters high, so we're not terribly high for being the distance that we are away. Let's bring it back here. And one of the things that I want to do is do some flights back and forth. Whoops, I went too high there. There we are. And look at this horizon, it's just perfect. So, you know, when I first bought this drone, gosh, you know, it's in 2021, I guess it was. I had some issues with it, and I remember some issues with the gimbal and so forth. We're seeing none of that here. So I think with firmware updates and app updates, etc., I think Fimi has evidently solved some of those issues. This is pretty much a perfect flight. Oh, I stopped recording there. Inadvertently, I hit the button on the controller. So I'm going to start recording again now. And yeah, I'm going to turn this guy around, And we're going to do a little, see if I can, I can't remember if this drone has cruise control. You know what I'll do is maybe I'll set up just a little waypoint mission that maybe I could do with both drones. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, but I want to do kind of an even speed. And let's look into the menu here. Like I said, it's been long enough that and I'm going to back it up just a little bit. Let's get kind of a little bit higher. Let's get yeah, we're about 32 meters high now. And I'm going to click on that little, it's like an Android looking character in the bottom right hand side of the screen. And let's see, it gives me waypoints. Tap fly. I think tap fly might do it for me. Let's, and there's course lock as well. Okay, let's click on course lock here real quick. Yeah, and free, save, fly direction. Yeah, okay. So that would just keep you flying straight. I don't want to do that. So course lock, what that's going to do would be the same thing as DJI when it says disable sideways flight. That's what course lock is. In other words, you can still yaw, however, you can't bank the drone. But tap fly might do it for me. So get on the map to choose a target, and it'll fly there at a default speed. Yeah, and I'm not going to set a point of interest. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that. So we got the map here. Let me try over again here. I'm going to go click back on that little icon at the bottom, click tap fly, click OK, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened is I was out of the mode. Yeah, perfect. So that's what happened is I was out of the mode. So if you guys don't see all that messing around, it's because I edited it out and it was just boring. But I checked the map to choose the destination, and then I'm trying to remember, there's got to be a way to set the flight speed here. Yeah, there's the flight speed right there, 3 meters per second. That's perfect. That's what we're going to do. So let's click go. And the drone, yeah, the drone's taken off now, and it's flying that way. So it should be recording. And let's see if we can get back to the, we're on maps. How do we get back to that first person view? That's the question. The drone is making its way. I'm going to click on the map again. There we go. There. So now I've got the first person view back, and we can see the drone making its way. And I can see I have the horizon, the rule of thirds. I'm a little bit below that. So we'll let the drone do that. And I'll do the same thing with the version 2. And that way we can compare the video side by side. So we should get essentially the same picture. I may not start the drone in exactly the same spot, but that'll give us a good shot. So I apologize that I don't use this app as much as I would like, and I'm going to have to fly this thing more. But I'm having a great flight. This is awesome. The drone is just flying perfectly. I mean, literally no issues at all that so far. So we should be almost to the end of the first flight here. Of the tap fly. It's got to be getting close. Then we'll turn around and fly it back. In fact, I think what we'll do is we'll call it good. We're down to 47% battery. Yeah, so there it is. It's on its way. It reached the end. Tap fly mission completed. So here, let me tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to drop this guy down a little bit, height-wise. Then we're going to put it in return to home, and we'll see if we can get a precision landing. So the reason I'm dropping it down is I want to see it rise to its return to home height. And I want to go back to the attitude indicator. I prefer that. Okay, let's hit return to home right now. We're going to slide, and here comes the drone. And in fact, we can watch it come back to us. This is kind of similar to TapFly, isn't it? So we can compare that video too. We'll do the same thing when I put up the version 2 of the drone. Yeah, this worked out great. And it's such a beautiful day today. So thank you for indulging me. Let me get a little time in with the Fimi Mini, and that way when my friend's version 3 shows up, I'll be a little bit more familiar with the app. But I can tell you, this is impressing me. I just remember in the past having more problems with this drone, but it's flying great. I mean, I got no complaints with this flight so far. I haven't looked at the video yet. Okay, so the drone is back to us, and it will start to descend. Yes, descending. Landing pad detected, it says. No, now not detected. Let's just see what it does. I'm just gonna, well, you know what? I better drop the camera down because I wouldn't want it to drop onto the tree or anything. And no, it's not gonna. Unless it moves over. I don't know. Will it see that pad? Yeah, it's not really seeing the pad, so it's gonna be in the grass here. Unless it sees that pad at the last, it's gonna be pretty close to the pad. Look at it move over. Oh, it's gonna be on the pad, I think. It says landing pad not detected, but it's darn close. And that was me picking up the camera. It's in the grass, but you see there, I mean, it was pretty close. And oh, by the way, it stopped recording, which I so appreciate. Okie dokie, I've got the Fimi Mini version 2 fired up here. And interestingly enough, I was looking at the manufacture dates on the two different drones. And the version 1 was manufactured in July of 2021. This version 2 was manufactured in February of 2023. So it's not that old. Yeah, flight distance looks like it's set up. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the rest of that. The return to home is at uh, about 31 meters, which is plenty for where we're at. We've got precision landing on, not in sport mode. You know, all of this looks very similar. Yeah, I'm looking at that dynamic home point in Smart Track. That is interesting. That would mean that it changes the home point to where the controller is at, and continually. That's an interesting thing. So I'll have to take a look at that on a different flight. But all that looks good. Let's look at click at the very top, and it goes into a safety menu. And yeah, we're in mode 2. We want it to return to home. Let's format the SD card. I'm going to click format on there. And it tells us timeout. That's a Fimi thing, but trust me, it's fine. Let's go look at the camera menu. It formats the card, but for some reason it says timeout. I think that just the wrong message comes up. So we're going to click on, yeah, we're in video quality high, which is where we want to be. Color is vivid, so we want to change that to general. That's what we were on the other one. And everything else is the same. Metering mode, were we center or average on when we looked at it? I'm going to leave it on center. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But we got our grid lines on and so forth. We've already formatted the card. Oh, video zoom. I'm going to turn that on. I don't think that is in the other version. No, I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to do that. You got to switch it to, yeah, okay. That explains some things that I've noticed earlier on this drone. But anyway, we'll look at that. We'll look at that later. So remember that you've got to be in 25 frames per second in order to do that. So we're in 4K 30. Let's go ahead and start recording. So we are recording, and I can't think of any reason not to take off. Interestingly enough, we've only got 14 satellites. I think the other one grabbed more satellites quicker. But I had it sitting there for a while too, but 14 is plenty. It says it's good to go. Interesting, this guy only went up about 2.5 meters high. I thought the 4-meter thing was a regular Fimi deal, but evidently not. Let's and I see it moving around just a little bit. There might be a little bit of a breeze, but it's not too bad. Let's bring it in like we did the other one. Kind of give you a look at the drone here. Bring it over. I want to keep it away from this post here, but I want to bring it in to give the camera here a look at it. Anyway, there's the little drone right there. Cute looking drone. You know, again, I have to look at the date codes on them to tell the difference when I'm just looking at the drones. But anyway, let's drop that camera down. I'm going to back it out here and move it to the side a little bit, and then we'll do our droney. So yeah, 18 satellites, 15 satellites. It's not grabbing as many satellites as version 1 did. But anyway, reversing up now, reverse and up. And yeah, we've got the camera about right. We're almost at the rule of thirds. I could probably drop that camera down a little bit more, but let's go ahead and kind of get out over the pond here. These are high. This is a high performance mini drone. I'm telling you, what you can't say about Fimi, and I'm dropping the camera down, getting to that rule of thirds again. I mean, this horizon it's near perfect. If it's not perfect, it's near perfect. So yeah, let's fly it back, and I'll do some of the same things I did with the other drone, but we're definitely going to do that tap fly. And I see the camera dipped a little bit as I'm pushing it forward. How fast are we going here? Yeah, we're going almost 12 meters per second in normal mode. So like I said, this is a fast little drone. 12 meters per second is hopping right along. That's about 26 miles an hour, something like that. I noticed then I let off the throttle, and yeah, and I'm getting a little bit of crooked horizon as I turn here, which is interesting. We did not see that on the version 1, and it's not. Listen, it's not horrible, but I'm just saying it's there. When I look at the grid lines, I can see that, so it's not impossible. But it immediately starts flattening itself out as we go. I am full throttle forward here. Man, oh man. So, gosh, this thing is, we're at 16 meters per second, and this is in normal mode. We didn't put it in sport mode. I'm telling you what, that's hauling the mail, folks. That's 34, 35 miles an hour right in there, so that's pretty good. And I still have just a hint of a crooked horizon. I'm going to yaw the other direction and see if that flattens it out. Yeah, not really. A little bit. Like I said, it's a little crooked. It's not horrible, but it's there. I can see it nonetheless. I think we ought to go over and look at the and see how they're doing over at In-N-Out Burger and see how long the lines are. So we're going to go across where we can get over the tops of these buildings here. And we've got really good signal. And satellites-wise, look, we're up to 23 sats. So it just took it a little bit longer to pick up the satellites, but it's got them now. So we'll go over the top of the movie theater here. And this connection is good. I'm going to remind you, while I have the controller pointed at the drone, as soon as I say that, I get a little stuttering. I am underneath a picnic shelter here, so it's partially blocking our signal. You know, we're blocked a little bit by terrain. So yeah, I'm seeing both the signal strength meters go down just a little bit, but it's certainly flyable. But boy, look at how crooked our horizon is. Holy cow. Yeah, our horizon that's wacko. It's funny how the version 1 did so well, but this one we're having horizon issues. It's way off. But anyway, let's look down here at the. I'm dropping the camera down. Let's move a little closer forward. Yeah, so you look at the drive-through. There's cars there, but it's not, too extraordinary. You can see how they're kind of making an S curve in there. And then often, I'm sure walk-in wise, I'm sure you could walk right in there. And I'm getting a little, it's telling me compass interference. So that happens. You get that message a lot. Every Fimi drone I've ever had gives me that compass error. And I'm talking about going clear back to the Xiaomi Mi 4K. You would get that warning on there. So I don't know if they're extra sensitive or what that is, but I've never had it. I've yet to see it affect flight. So anyway, other than our horizon, things are looking good. Man, it's really wacko now, isn't it? So let's fly the other way and see if it'll straighten out. I'm going to pick up the camera and see if we can straighten out that that crooked horizon. But boy, it is. That is the level right there that I'd say is unacceptable. I'm okay if you've got a hint of a crooked horizon, because often you're not going to see it on. Here's what I'm going to do here. It's slowly straightening it out. I'm going to do a, well, you know, it's straightening it out pretty quickly now. I'm going to do, yeah, it's a lot flatter. Okay, look at this. I'm not doing anything, and it's pretty much straight now. Okay, I'm going to drop that camera down. Look at that. It's perfectly flat now. It just straightened itself out there. It took it a second, but definitely was going crooked. So let's do the same thing. Let's just do a little, I'm going to drop some altitude. Let's do a little manual orbit around the sculpture here. One of my favorite objects to do this orbit around. And how high are we? We're 30 meters high, so I'm getting a little bit, if you look at the signal strength for the FPV screen is a little bit in the yellow, but not bad. It looks fine on my FPV screen as I'm looking at it now. And boy, I'll tell you what, the flight controls on this drone are quite good. It's this is super easy for me to maintain this manual orbit. And you know, I recently tried doing this with the Holy Stone HS900 and with the Potensic Atom, and I can say I'm having a way easier time with this drone, way easier. Okay, so we are down to 61% battery, and look at that. As soon as I started swinging it around, it tilted our horizon again, but as soon as I swing it the other way, it flattened out. So let's bring it back, and we're going to do that same course lock maneuver that I did with version 1, and let's see what we can accomplish here. That'll give us a good way to compare the video of the two, right? And at the end of the video, I'll do some side-by-side comparison, put it up on the screen so you can see them side by side. Although I always argue that when you look at that side by side stuff, it can be deceiving because, you know, the only way you can really tell is when you're looking at it full screen. But anyway, I'll still do it. Let me turn the drone around. Get it pointed the direction we want to point it here. I can tell you, this thing handles like a dream. It is a great flying drone. I'm just telling you. How high were we with the other drone? I'm going to say we must have been about, well, okay, we're 27 meters high. I'm going to go up to 30 meters. I can't remember how high I was on that other flight. So it may not be exact, but anyway, we'll get it up about 30 meters. I'm trying to, yeah, there we go. I overshot it a little bit. Drop the camera down a little bit. And well, we're watching it flatten the horizon out. As it sits there for a second, it flattens that horizon back out. Okay, again, I am going to click on the little Android-looking thing in the bottom right. I'm going to click on Tap Fly. I'm going to click OK. And because I need to stretch things out here a little bit, let's stretch out that map. And I should be able to tap the map to choose destination. Let's see if I can do it here. Yeah, 30 meters. I think it said 32 meters on the other one. So I've got a little slider here on the right. I wonder if I can kick that out a little bit more. Look at that. The other one said 32 meters. So that slider, that's cool. So we'll see if it goes out the same. And I don't know if I'm starting in exactly the same spot either. But then I'm going to click that arrow, and we're at 3 meters per second. We're going to click go. And we're on the way. And again, now I know how to get back into the, yeah, I see it starting up here. It's telling us the speed. It's kicking up to that 3 meters per second. I'm going to get our first person view back. There we are. And yeah, you know what? I think that the camera's, that's me picking up the camera a little bit because I don't think we were quite that low with the other one. But anyway, so that's me. That was me moving the camera. And again, there is a little bit of a crooked horizon, but it's kind of slowly straightening itself out. It's interesting to me that the version 1, I'm having much better luck with horizon than I am with this version. 54% battery, so we're in great shape. And we've been recording video for about 12 minutes, or close to 12 minutes. So that's pretty good battery power. Now I'm seeing that, it looks like it's definitely got a crooked horizon, a little bit of a crooked tipped horizon on this one. That is interesting that the version 1 did so much better with the horizon. I don't know if it's yeah, I mean, look at this, it's getting worse, more crooked all the time. I don't know if there's a wind up there. That's possible, I suppose. But let's see here when it gets to the end of the course lock. And then I'm going to, or tap fly, excuse me. I said course lock. I meant to say tap fly. And then as soon as it's done, I'll bring it back on return to home, just like we did the other drone. Although I do have the return to home set a little bit lower on this one, because I think the other one I had it set at 35. Maybe I could go in and change that before we... Yeah, look at that. This is pretty cool. There, yeah, 32 meters. Boom, and it comes to a stop, and it will say tap fly mission completed. That is awesome. I'm going to go in and see if I can go into safety here and return to home height. Let me see if I can change that on the fly. I can't. I don't think it'll let me do it. Oh, it will. Okay, so I set it at 35 meters. That's good, and I think I dropped the other one down before I hit return to home. I think I dropped it down, I don't know, mid-20s or something like that. Again, I'm seeing a little tilt on the horizon here, but let's go ahead and hit return to home, and we'll be able to compare that footage on its way back too. And I'm going to get back to the attitude indicator, return to home. We're sliding, and here she comes. And as it spun around, that helped that horizon a little bit, and it's rising to its 35 meter return to home height. And it should be come back. How fast does it go in RTH? Well, I'll tell you here in a second. It's accelerating. It's coming back pretty quick. Yeah, about 8 meters. Man, it's hauling the mail. 9 meters per second. Yeah, it's not messing around. It's not wasting any time. Yeah, a little over 9 meters per second at the top speed there. Now it's slowing down. Yeah, it must, yeah. Huh. I thought I saw a little kick in the gimbal there. Maybe that was just me seeing things. Yeah, no, there's definitely some gimbal kick there. So I can say this one does not, the gimbal is not quite as accurate as on that version 1 drone that I have. And that's just a variation between the two. Okay, it'll start lowering here any minute here. Let's wait till it starts coming down. And landing pad not detected. I'm going to drop that camera down because, again, if it was going to come down on top of a tree or something, I definitely want to be able to pause it. And this one's a lot more accurate. Oh yeah, landing pad detected. I think this guy's gonna, well, look at that. No, it's going for the trash can. No, that's not gonna work. So I picked it back up. I gotta take it back out of auto return. Yeah, I took it out of auto return. So that's interesting. It saw the round top of the trash can and said, hey, that's my landing pad. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Okay, let's back it up here and let's see if we can manually fly it over the pad here. Shoot, that cracks me up. Let's see if I got that camera all the way back. Yep, I do. Let me back it up just a little if I can. Okay, I'm going to pull. Oh, it went a little too far. I'm going to come a little more forward. The wind's blowing it around a little bit. I'm going to drop it down a little bit, see if I can get a little more accurate. And yeah, it's like I said, it's getting blown around, so I'm going to try and bring it a little more forward. It's hard. Okay, straight down on that left stick, straight down. We'll put it in landing mode. Will I hit the pad? I did. And this guy does not lift the camera up, so that camera is still pointed straight down. I always get confused on which drones do that. I like that feature, and that's me lifting the camera up, where it will lift the camera up when it lands. Okay, let me get everything shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay, the Fimi X8 Mini. Got version 1 here, version 2 here. I cannot tell the difference just by looking at these drones. The only way I can tell the difference between these two drones is when I look at the date on the bottom of the serial number tag here, and that will, you know, tell the date of manufacture. Again, this one was, the version 2 was February of 2023, and this one was manufactured July of 2021. But I had a couple of good flights, I thought. Nothing I could pick apart other than on version 2. We definitely had a crooked horizon. At one time there, it was fairly significant. It was pretty crooked. More than you can, you know, I mean, I'm okay. If it's just a little bit off, I'm not going to get too carried away. But it was way off at different times. It would flatten itself out after a while. But on the version 1, we didn't see that at all. So, yeah, anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. Now, I'll let you guys compare the video. I'm anxious to look at it when I get home. As I recall, on version 1, you used to see a lot of vignetting around the edges of the video and so forth. You know, there's been some firmware updates, so who knows if that's, well, I'm just going to say this. I'm anxious to pull these SD cards out and look at that video. So at the conclusion of the video here, I'm going to put them up side by side on the screen and just put a little music to it, and you guys can compare the two. But I would encourage you to look at them full screen, because that's the only way you're really going to tell. Now, often if you're looking on a small device, if you're looking on your cell phone, you may not be able to tell any difference, right? So in any case, the flight controls on both of them, very impressed with the flight controls. They fly really great, and it's a powerful little mini drone. I think it's the most powerful mini drone. I know a lot of folks say that Walkera T210 is faster and more powerful. I don't know. I've got the Holy Stone version of that drone, which may be tuned different, but it's not as fast. I can say that it's not as fast as these two. Anyway, I look forward to being able to test the version 3 that my friend is sending me, and yeah, we'll do a deep dive into that one and check things out. Let's go ahead and roll that comparison video right now. Okay, that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I know this was a fairly lengthy video, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch it. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. The Fimi Mini version 1 and the Fimi Mini version 2.